Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from group 6 and now we want to present our materials, chapter 7. It is about call teacher education, professional development and learner training. But before we start this presentation, let me introduce a member of group 6. Okay, first is myself, Alda Alfiana Hilal, and I'm from class B. And then my friends, there is Alvina Maulidina from class B, Arya Nugraha M from class D, Andi Ahmad Suyudi from class C, and the last is Andi Himaya Humaira from class C. Okay, so let's talk about our materials.
Overview. This chapter covers three interest areas: teacher education, professional development, and learner training. All of these involve the development of knowledge and skill, the use of technology in the pursuit of learning objective. By teacher education, we prefer primarily to both pre-service and in-service education of a formal nature, one-time degree and certificate program, individual course and workshop. Viewed from the perspective of educator, professional development might involve some of the formal mechanism but also many informal ones and is different mainly from the viewpoint of the practicing teacher. Learner training refers to the process through which the teacher or other instructional entity, software, video, web page, guide students to become more effective use of technology for language learner.
Okay, first is teacher's education. So Mike Levy and I, Hubbard, and Levy 2006 have developed a role-based framework to delineate the field for the purposes of call teacher's education. Specifically, we propose two types of roles for individuals engaged in computer-assisted language learning. First is institutional and the second is functional. So institutional roles include classroom teachers, both pre and in-service specialists like language lab managers, language skills area specialists, and etc. And then professionals, those whose careers are in computer-assisted language learning. Okay, and the second is functional. So functional roles include practitioners, developers, researchers, and also trainers. And also you can see the table. Okay, so the focus of the teacher can be seen in the illustration of the previous figure, which states that the teacher is a practitioner and developer of computer-assisted language learning, software or application. And then from the table that has been filled in above, it can also be said that there are two types of knowledge and skills, namely technical and then pedagogical knowledge and skills. And then we discuss about teachers' education options. So teachers' education options, in finding a suitable of call training opportunity, it is important to identify one that fits your needs depending on your existing level of your computer expertise. Some certificate programs and workshops in particular may focus overly on how to use the technology rather than why. Beyond formal programs, both like Calico and Eurocall have special interest groups devoted to teachers' education. And the second is teacher standards. So one way of improving especially the technical competence of teachers is through general proficiency training in this area. And this is also true of learners. And the last is other teachers' education resources.
The next material is about professional development. Teacher Goal 4, Standard 2 of the TESOL Standards states language teachers regularly reflect on the instruction of professional practice and technological developments so that they can make informed decisions regarding the use of technology to support language learning and communication. Goal 1, Standard 3 says language teachers actively strive to expand their skill and knowledge best to evaluate, adopt, and adapt emerging technologies through their careers. Together, these standards indicate that attention to call is a central part of ongoing professional development for those already practicing their profession, not just during the time when teachers are working toward degrees or certification. Besides proceeding entirely on their own, avenues for teachers to engage in a professional development include online resources, communities of practice, professional organizations, workshops and classes, reading, project, and collaborations. And then there are some points that I'm going to describe. So the first is online resource. That researchers have seen a number of useful resources for learners through this book, but there are a number of resources that are valuable to teachers as well. The next is communities of practice. While they have assumed here that you can learn about code through coursework or self-study, another way is to interact with other language teachers who are similarly on their own. And then professional organizations. Professional organizations like TESOL, ITFL, and ACTFL support technology integration and offer presentations and workshops at their conference. And next is workshops and classes. Besides the conference-centered workshop and classes, professional organizations and other institutions offer face-to-face or online training for professional development purpose. And then is readings. There is an enormous amount of valuable information about call available in both formal and informal formats. A few hours of reading about the research result or just personal reflections or practitioners on a topic of interest could save a lot of frustration later on. If you are not sure where to find this reading, first is become an expert with Google and Google Scholar or wherever you prefer searches in Chinese, so that you are more likely to find what you are looking for quickly. And second is try posting to forum through professional organization and communities of practice, asking for sources. And the last point is project and collaboration. Perhaps the best way to develop professionally is to have a specific project in mind that integrates technology. As a teachers, we already know the value of project-based learning for our students.
Linear training call is an important aspect of language learning. It involves guiding students to become more effective users of technology for language learning. However, three alternative approaches to consider when it comes to linear training in call. The first alternative is to buy software that can adapt to learner at various levels, such as language proficiency, computer proficiency, learning style, and more. However, current code software has not fully realized this adeptly. The second alternative is to believe the learners will naturally find strategy that suit them and align with their learning style. However, this approach might not be feasible for most students as they may not be aware of all the features and options available in the software or digital tools they use. The third alternative is to recognize the benefit of learner training but find into time consuming and challenging. However, the cons- this However, the decision to provide training to learners should be based on a cost-benefit analysis. Learner training is called not only assistance students in using technology effectively but also helps them in achieving language learning goal. It helps them develop basic technical skill, effective learning strategy, and understanding of the social and cultural profile use of technology.
Let us proceed under the assumption that it is worth the trouble to do at least some training. What do we need to do? Here is an example. Technical training, controlling speed on the media player. First, download the VLC media player. It's free, but you can donate to them if you wish. They have version for both Windows and Mac, as well as other operating systems. 1. Load the video into the VLC player using the media menu. It is best to use videos you have already downloaded. You can also try to use Open Network system if you have a URL for direct streaming. If you don't have the URL handy, right-click on the video screen and select Property to find it. 2. Note the speed control is easy to use. See the red circle in figure 6. You may need to click on status bar under the view menu to get the control. I recommended using it around 18% speed, certainly no slower than 75%. While this listening aid is a breakthrough for students, some students may not know that some media players have light speed control. The VLC media player also has keyboard shortcuts for jumping forward and back instead of using the slider. For example, using Shift plus back arrow jumps back 3 seconds, a very valuable feature when listening to audio or video for language learning purpose. 3. Besides media player, some popular research now have built-in speed controls. YouTube, for example, has a 75 speed option, as does the TED website, which is useful for language learners to gain them more processing time for connected speech. However, they need to know it exists and where to find it.
Okay, the next material is pedagogical training. To effectively use code software, it is essential to experience the technology firsthand and ensure that you can operate it correctly. Teachers should also provide learners with teacher training to help them develop a language learning approach consistent with valid teaching methods. This includes practicing linking procedures and strategies with software, online tasks, and CMC activities to specific language learning objectives. A cyclical approach is recommended. Teaching incrementally and recycling key concepts and strategies Collaborative debriefings can be used to consolidate experiences, learn from peers, and avoid isolation caused by working alone on the computer. It is crucial to teach general exploitation strategies such as how to use software or authentic materials to make tasks easier or harder, and how to mine the material for uses different from those intended by developer. For example, many call tutorial exercises involve multiple choice questions, so learners need training in resizing windows to hide possible answers and using text support effectively for audio and video. For CMC activities, some training in relational and techniques of effectively negotiating meaning is valuable. In general, learners need to build a repertoire of strategies to realize their language learning potential in dedicated call software, CMC tasks, and online language material. To effectively train students, it is crucial to thoroughly analyze the software, task, or activity and establish connections between action and learning objectives. The learner training framework has been expanded to include three domains: technical, strategic, and pedagogical. This model moves some pedagogical training to the more recognized area of strategy training. Technical training teaches students how to do tasks, strategic training teaches them what and when to do tasks, and pedagogical training teaches them why to do them. Examples of materials used in learner training can be found on the Advanced Listening website and a learner training project conducted by teachers at Community College ESL program.
Suggest activity. Go to a website in the picture like first familiarize yourself with the main part of the site or all of it. Then try to determine number one, what basic technical training student might need to use the site effective. Number two, what more advanced technique training will be helpful. Number three, how strategy and pedagogical training will connect to this, both site specific and generalized. And number four, finally, how might you teach this information to them?
Okay, so today we've already present our materials in the chapter 7 that's about call teachers education, professional development, and also learner training, and which is all of this involve the development of knowledge and skills in the use of technology in the pursuit of learning objectives. So I just want to say thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.